We left off Hay, page 231. We spoke about the esrog that was split, nizdak. Nizdak kulo mi rosha l'sofo. The esrog is split from top to bottom. Afilu einu chosek klum. Although no part of the esrog is missing, it's all intact. It's all there. None of the flesh, none of the skin has been removed from the esrog. Posel. Avol nishar bo shir lamato I feel kosher, but let's say it's attached. It's not split from top to bottom, where actually you could bend it back. It's attached on top and bottom. It's split from, let's say, an inch below the top to an inch below to the bottom, and it's split. Okay, it's kosher. V'yesh mi she'omed dedavka milamato. When we say it's split, that it's not a problem, that's only if the split is on the lower half of the esrog. Aval b'chotmo, I feel kosher posel. But if it's at the upper part of the esrog, referring to the chotim is the nose, the tip, and that part where it protrudes on top, then it's posel. Okay, it makes sense. Like we said before, niktam rosho, because we see that's most obvious. What you see immediately, that detracts immediately from the hodor. Below, it's not as, because we'll discuss in a moment, if you have, let's say, some type of blemish on the esrog, a spot, if it's on top, it's much more of a problem. We'll see what there's no question where it starts angling up, or that's where at the very top. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Nistak. Seems to be, even if it's split on one side, it does not be split on both sides. I mean, split all the way through, or it's split on both sides. Whichever side you turn it. Well, this is a vertical split. Of course, we're saying top to bottom, and on top it's attached, and on the bottom it's attached. The first opinion says it's not a problem. The others say it is a problem. If it's from the top to even on top, because if the chotim, if the tip, the point has a split in it, seems to even that alone is a problem. Even the rest is intact, but the upper, the nodule that it protrudes, that is split. Just that part. It could be part of. It could be an inch. That's enough to invalidate the esrog, according to the second opinion. This is speaking about if you have the trachea and the esophagus, if it has a split in it, is it a trachea or not? So it says by the gargeres of the behemoth, that's the esophagus. If it's split, it has a cut in it, but on top and on the bottom, it's still intact. It's not all the way. It's not a trachea. It's not a trachea. Okay. The but he says there are those who are machmir lifsol benistak rubo, that if the majority of the esrog is split, even though it's intact on top and bottom, it's possible. Choshel nistak rov klipo, the choshel nistak rov kliposo. Ha'ovo lamikri nistak. Now, what's nistak? Let's say a person takes a knife and he actually serrates, he goes and cuts a shallow cut in the skin. So he doesn't cut through the rind. So he's not cutting through, it's not the esrog is cut through. It's split where it's split to the center. It's just the skin is partially penetrated. Is that nistak? So he says, Choshel nistak rov kliposo ovo. If the majority of the thick skin hasn't been split. So split means it has to be split. It doesn't mean just cut. It means it's cut through. No mikri nistak. It has to be majority. We'll see the Mishna Berura. Lifso benistak rubo. He cites a yishmachmirim. Hataz mogravam hisigo al psaka ramo. The Taz and Mogad Avram, who are the commentators on Orach Chaim, they take issue with the ruling of the Ramah. There's no such opinion. They question the Ramah, what is the source of the opinion? He says, but the Vilna Gaon shows that the Ramah is correct. The Ishmachmim Berubo, there are opinions that say that if the majority is split, it's possible. Even on one side. Yeah. It has to be split through the what? The skin has to be pierced. Like I'm saying, what about if it's just cut? But the skin is not fully penetrated. That's not called nistak. The rind has to be cut straight through. Okay? Was split. Hainu Merosha Esrog Lasofo. Oledasa go b'shirubo. Ha'ovo. Di'ilu nistak ko kliposo. Di'ilu nistak ko kliposo ovo. V'igil chadri azera. Afilu mokom echad posul. No. Till the flesh. But he says something interesting here. He says, what about, we had earlier about mefulosh, if you have a hole, what does it mean goes through? The go through means it goes through both sides of the esrog? Or does it mean it penetrates the rind and you've reached the location of the flesh? Although you don't rupture the sackets where the seeds are. According to what opinion that was mefulosh. That was enough to invalidate it. Okay? So he says, the ilunista kokli poso over. He says if the thick rind was totally cut, vigia lechedri azora, and you went beyond the rind and you came to where the flesh is, afil mokom echad poso, we said earlier. Right? That's the equivalent of the whole. Davichal nekav mefulosh. That's a nekav mefulosh. Lo bikri nizda afilu b'chotbo gabkein davkish nizda ksham rof fliposo. Di lafoch ene b'chal nizda klal. I think what he means, rof kliposo, means that, let's say the rind is an inch thick and it's penetrated more than 50%. So the rind is not cut straight through till you get to the flesh. But more than 50% is cut, is penetrated. That's rof kliposo. And these are unusual cases. See, usually nistak happens when the esrog starts rotting or diseased. It splits, like something gets very soft or overly ripe. That's when usually it splits. It like bursts. So that's what we're talking about over here. It's not somebody went and damaged it. You took a knife and cut it. Like we discussed earlier, if it's not firm, if the esrog is not firm, right? Is it still kosher or not kosher? So he said, with the evidence, it's okay. We're not talking it's mushy. It's not firm. Has a slight softness to it. It's better not to use that esrog. Right? That was the mechaber on Amar Aleph. No, Mishna Berura, no. He said it. Mishna Berura said it's a mistake. No. What about if the outer peel, the esrog was peeled, not the rind, the surface, the outer surface, the thinnest layer was stripped off the esrog? No, it doesn't. It's diseased. That's what happens. Nikla faklipo hachitor shalo. Shena machasro elinisha yoro kamoshu brioso. But it what? But it retains its greenness. It's green, and it looks. Im niklav kula posul. If all the skin was peeled off, the outer skin, but again the rind is there, it's posul. Im nisha mimeno koshu kosher. But if there's a slight amount left on the outer part of the esrog, it's kosher. It's valid. That you have to have the size of a coin, which is a selah. That's the amount of skin has to remain on the outer part of the esrog. It's interesting. You know, we have no dermatologist here, okay? But it's known that the skin, in terms of protects the body. If a person wouldn't have skin protecting his body, he'd be vulnerable to everything, right? The skin protects everything. So the Gemara speaks in Chulin, an animal had a disease, or was in a fire, and the majority of its skin was burnt off. Not its flesh, the skin, the hide that protects the flesh and the inner organs, the majority was peeled off from a disease, as the animal a treifa. So it says, so there are two opinions. If you have an amount of skin which is a small amount, it's still a kosher animal. Why? Because the skin could rejuvenate and the skin could grow back. But if it's all the skin is peels off, has all disease, it will never regrow its skin. The other opinion says no. You have to have minimally, the amount of skin has to be a cellar. If it's a cellar, it will rejuvenate, which is the size of a large coin. But if the amount of skin that's left on the outer part of the animal is less than that, the skin will not rejuvenate, and ultimately the animal is going to die. Because it's vulnerable to all kinds of things. So we said earlier that what causes something to be treifa in an animal, those invalidations apply to the esrog. So that's what we're discussing here. If the skin peels, the outer skin, not the rind, how much of the outer skin has to remain to be considered not hodor? That it no longer identifies with its original characteristic. One says any amount of skin. The other one says minimally a sella, which is the size of a large coin. That's the amount of skin. The outer layer has to be on the rind. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't matter, right? Haklipa chitzono, hainu klipa hadako shikimin glid al esrog. It's a thin. It's glid. It's the surface. Vein kan chisoron beguf shel esrog klau. It's like a glaze. Glid is it's a glaze of the esrog. It's glazed. The outer skin, it shines. You peel that off. He says because if the skin would be peeled any deeper than that, we discussed earlier. If any of the rind is missing, that's choser. According to one opinion, it's posel. Posel mitam choser de rishona shall sif beis hanal. Ulde shnio im choser ki iser al koponim, or it's lacking the size of a small coin. And after this glaze is peeled off, yoro kamoshu brioso, but it retains its green color. What happens where the glaze is peeled off? It starts turning brown. It's a different color because now the esrog is no longer has that protective coating to it. Well, years ago, when people had books, they used to shellac them. Also, shellac a book. Because if let's say you did any embossing on it, gold stamping, over time the gold stamping would wear off. So how did they preserve the gold stamping? They put some shellac over it, on svarim, right? Or on shellac a piece of furniture, same idea. So over here he says, if this glaze peels off, and as he says, if it retains its green color, it's not a problem. What happens where it peels? And also the color changes. As a result that it's no longer protected, it changes color. Afilu niklaf rak choseki. Afilu niklaf rak rubo posel. Chozdaf kshniklaf hakol biyachad. Avol niklaf b'shnayim u'shloshim komos afilu b'miro esrog. And aim no doma l'shar ha'esrog posel. Davikim enumar. Says, what about the majority of the outer glaze is there? The outer it's like cellophane is there, but as a result of being peeled in a number of small spots, it becomes spotted. That's called manure. A spotted esrog is not a valid esrog. We had it before. If you have a hadas, which you have red berries on it, or blackberries, if those blackberries are there, it's posel. Why? Because it looks spotted. We're talking about it's green, and then it's spotted, speckled with red berries. That detracts from the natural beauty of what the hadas is supposed to look like. Similar to the esrog, it's supposed to be green. So it's green, and then a number of places you have this glaze removed. And as a result of that, it turned colors in a number of places. It's a spotted esrog. Spotted esrog is possible. That's called manumar. V'mniklav v'mokum chotmo. What about if the glaze, the nodule that extends on top, where this is where the pitum is, that upper part, that's where. So the majority of the outer skin is intact. She'nodoma mokum akil of shar esrog, afil choshum possible. What happens? What happens if you have that discoloration on the upper part? If it's peeled a little bit, it doesn't make a difference because it still looks green. What about it's peeled slightly on top, and in that spot where the pitum is, you notice a brown spot because it's peeled. It's puzzle. We don't have to come on to it because it looks spotted. It's only if it changes to a color which is not an acceptable color. What's a mara posul? Shocher v'lovon. Turns black, it turns white. Avon mara kosher they in the poslo. Pshas tchaki shlismul. That person has no alternative. You can rely on this lenient opinion. I'll come see if you'd gimago. Im niklav kulo posul. What about if the majority of the glaze, all of it comes off? Kamo bin behemosh niklav kolora treifa v'lohojar bori. That if all the skin comes off the animal, peels off as a result of a disease, the animal's a treifa. Because the skin is crucial to protect it. And ultimately, as I said, the skin's not going to rejuvenate. There's nothing from where it should rejuvenate from. Others say it has to be shtar sela. As long as you have the amount of glaze on the outer part of the esrog, which is the size of a large coin, how much skin has to remain on the animal that it should not be considered a treifa, that the skin should rejuvenate? This is, they do the burn victims, right? They do grafts, skin grafts. So when you put the skin, and from that skin, it rejuvenates. The rest of the skin grows. To be continued.